Hey, what's up? It's Steve and welcome back to the channel. So that was a really fun live looping performance there. A creation that was sort of folksy, bluegrassy a little bit, mysterious in a couple ways, and I did it using my Taylor GS Mini and this killer pedal down here, the Aeros Loop Studio. As you saw, I was able to build 2 different song parts and go back and forth. I could have done more song parts, and I had up to 6 tracks that I could layer on each of them. So it's really powerful and super flexible. Now, I did a video on the Aeros pedal last week here on my channel where I did a full demo using my electric guitar, but also the Beat Buddy pedal from Singular Sound. The Beat Buddy and the Aeros work together in perfect sync, and it's a great way to build really complex full songs with drums in a bunch of different genres and styles. But then as I went on, I showed how to record and undo, and I didn't do the best job of making sure I demonstrated how you can really stay in perfect sync using the click track. So as you can tell from the beginning of this video, it started off with a click track on song parts 1 and 2, but then when I went back into play mode or to do my next loops or recordings, the click track went away. And what's really cool is you can either make the click track go into the main output, which your whole audience would see if you were doing live looping, for example, in front of the public, or you can run it straight into your headphones. For this, I ran it out into the mains, which meant you could hear it. I wanted you to hear the click track and how I used it, but I could have run it only to my headphones and then you wouldn't have been able to hear it. So it's a great option for live loopers. You don't have to have the audience hear that click track, but it keeps you on perfect time. So in a minute after the break, I'm going to replay that full performance, but I'm going to talk through every action that I did, what I was doing with my feet and the buttons and even my hands on the guitar. So it should be interesting. I hope you enjoy it. And also, if you're new here at Steve Guitar, remember to like and subscribe. It'll help grow the channel. I'll be able to do more live looping performances like this, demos, gear reviews, some giveaways, and a whole bunch more. All right, so let's hop into it. This is the Aeros Loop Studio with my acoustic guitar. Here we go. Okay, so like any good video, you grab your guitar, you grab your pick, look at yourself in the mirror, maybe you straighten your shirt, make sure you're looking all handsome. No, seriously, let's take a look at the Loop Studio. I want to show you a few things before I hit play on the song. At the bottom left-hand corner, that silver button in the bottom left, I use that over and over again to trigger the next song part. So if I am in song part 1 and I click that, it tells the looper that at the end of the loop, go to song part 2. So that's important. You'll see me hit that a few times. In the top left up there, that plus sign also shows how to add a song part, and it sort of tells you which song part you're in, so you'll see those move. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, I use that to play or record. So if you're going in to song part 2 from song part 1, you can either make sure you're going to play once you hit song part 2, or you're going to be recording right when you hit song part 2. So let's take a look. Now the first thing I'm going to do is hit the bottom right button to start recording. Now you can hear right there, it did a 4-measure click track to get me going, a count in, and now the click track continues, which keeps me in time. Now I'm going to hit that bottom left button to trigger song part 2, and the bottom right button to start recording on that. Now somewhere in here, I'm going to hit the button on the bottom left again to trigger song part 1, and then the right button right there. I hit it twice, and it triggered the recording on the next track of song part 1. I've got this cool little percussive thing going on here with my hands, and then I'm right back into song part 2. Now I could have stayed on both of these longer, but I just did it quickly just to keep the song rolling fast. And now I'm gonna hit the bottom left button again, and the bottom right button again. That was really fast, but basically I went back and forth between song part 1 and 2. And what you didn't see on camera is I used a Fender foot switch to go into a new tone here that has some tremolo and a big stereo delay. All right, now we're gonna hit the bottom left button right now. So that took me to song part 2. And I'm just playing. I've still got my original 2 tracks. I'm not recording right now. And one thing you may have noticed in the verse part right there, but here in the chorus, it plays twice. If you don't switch song parts, they repeat. So it's a way to play the chorus twice. So I'm going to trigger song part 1, and now I'm going to hit the button on the right to go back into play mode. Cool. So now we're in play mode on the song part 1 with 2 tracks right there, so it's pretty good. And now again, I didn't switch to song part 2, so it's playing the verse twice. Now I'm triggering song part 2 right there, and here we go. Now what you may have noticed is instead of just playing in song part 2, I hit the record button. So it's recording on track 3. Now here's where the middle button comes in handy. I'm going to hit that one time. Track 3 automatically played, and now I'm recording on track 4. Now I'm going to hit that middle button again here in a second, and you'll see that I trigger up track 5 right there. And so track 4 is playing, and that little high note is on track 5. Really cool. All right, so I'm going to hit the bottom left button to take us back to song part 1, and a play on the right side. So now we're back in song part 1, and this one still only has 2 tracks. I'm still not recording on a 3rd track. It's just my more mellow track here with 2 parts, and I'm doing some lead work. Now I'm going to hit the bottom left button one time, and here we go into song part 2. Now in song part 2, you can see we've got 5 recorded tracks, and I'm soloing on top of it. Sort of like a 6th track, except I'm not recording. So I'm just playing along, and it's pretty impressive. Now I'm gonna hit the bottom left button there to take us back to song part 1, and a little bit more soloing. So really cool right there in song part 1. Again, I'm just playing and soloing on top of it. Just 2 tracks right here, and I'll keep rolling. I think right here I was trying to decide when to go back to song part 2, so just some fun playing. It's a good example of how if you don't switch song parts, the verse just keeps playing over and over again. And now I've triggered song part 2, and here we go. Now. So again, 5 tracks, and I'm just recording away. So that's it, the Aeros Loop Studio. A lot of fun. Great way to build some pretty fun songs with ease using your feet and keep your hands free for guitar. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd love it if you like, subscribe here at Steve Guitar, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.